going on, man?
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Terrible, actually.
Terrible?
Yeah, are you gonna ask me how I'm doing, huh? And why I'm terrible?
Why?
I'm not actually terrible.
Oh.
I just wanted to keep you honest, keep you on your toes,
Keep
bro.
me on my toes?
I had to keep you on your toes.
I don't believe that half the time. You're a very happy guy. So when you're when something's terrible.
You know what they say
Terrible.
about the happiest people?
What's that?
They're dealing with the most hurt.
That's true.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
I agree. But half the time it's because you're like, my face hurts because I just got punched a bunch.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're probably right. Are you
Oh,
saying that because today's face punch day?
I think it's face punch day. I think that's what you were saying earlier, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Today is the day. Today is the day.
Let me know how that goes.
I will, man. I will.
What's happening, man?
Not much, Another day, another dollar, man. Freaking getting after it. Training, working.
Keeping the body right, keeping the body tight.
Something like that. Tight, maybe tight,
Yeah, tight.
right?
Whoa. Keep it
in
right,
between,
get it tight. Or what's the song? Get it right, get it tight. There you go. There you go.
Heck yeah,
Heck
man.
yeah, man. So what we got going on today?
Today we got my man, my chiropractor and acupuncturist from Core Chiropractic. His name's Dr. Tony Koehler. We're going to be bringing him on the show, talking to him about what got him into acupuncture and chiropractic and kind of where his story started and dive into what he does.
I love it, man. I got a lot of questions. I'm stiff.
I know.
Very.
What? Pause?
Okay, yeah. What? Let's bring him in.
Likewise, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. All right, man. Get your buy-in.
It's the buy-in right
Yeah,
here.
you got to spin it.
Ooh,
Spin the
I'm gonna
wheel.
show off my special talent here.
Oh, backwards.
That's what we should have threw up there. Bring in your table and have to crack something.
Yeah, free.
Yeah.
Oh, why did we do that? Free session?
Come on.
Free session.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Arm wrestle.
Uh-oh.
Arm
It's
wrestle.
arm wrestle.
Yeah!
It's got to be here.
gotta be
Wait,
in
no,
the middle.
he's got to be in the
That's both of
middle.
you guys do it? No way.
2-on-1.
2-on-1.
How do we do this?
Let's see.
We'll
Let's
do
see.
it at the end of the. We'll do it at the end of the. We're gonna figure this out, and it's gonna be exhilarating.
We'll see how that core strength, that core chiropractic
he's
strength.
looking pretty.
I know,
yoked
man. This
in that
guy's fit
shirt,
over
though.
there.
Is it the
I've
shirt
been in the
or is
gym.
it after?
Is that the schmedium?
It's all a shirt. It's all for looks.
What size is that shirt? Schmeedy?
We'll keep that
All right,
off
yeah,
the
yeah,
books. No, it's a medium.
He looks like a large guy, but the shirt's a small for
Small.
sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm always like a baggy shirt guy. Keeps
Really?
it tight in the shoulders and the like the arms, but
Except for
everything
today.
else nice and
flow.
baggy. Yeah. I want to
Excellent.
keep things breathable.
Yeah.
I never heard that word before. My wife likes to use it. Flowy. Keep the bottom of the shirt flowy.
Flowy.
I like that. Yeah,
Everything else
nice
fits
little flow.
Fits the shoulders good. Fits the top body good, and then let the rest of it flow.
Flow.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
100%, man. Well, thank you for coming
Yeah.
on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I've been excited to bring you on for a while. I know we've been talking about it for a minute, so it's been nice to actually get you on here, start talking to people about some of the things that we're actually doing and some of the work we've been doing. We've been working together for what, probably about 8 months now, something like that.
Yeah, a long time. I remember I was tuning you up before your Dallas fight.
Mm-hmm.
The LFA.
So we're almost at a full year.
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast a year goes, right?
Yep. Especially from when I first met you, you were hurting.
Oh no, 100%. Low back, shoulders, side. I'm just joking. All of it though, I
remember coming in that one day and you had that sparring match and you got pooch kicked. I think that's what you called
Yeah,
it.
Sugar. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sugar had teep kicked me in the rib pretty good. Yeah, it got me. That was actually your first time coming up there.
Ironically, I met you that day at the lab.
Go figure.
Yeah. So it was meant to happen.
Absolutely. Dude.
Yeah, timing was just perfect.
That's so crazy. Honestly, I guess I didn't think about it like that. But yeah, that's exactly when it all happened. Heck
Yeah, because I was trying to meet you, introduce myself, the whole 9 yards, and you could barely like breathe. You're sitting there like, yeah, it's nice to meet you, man. Oh man, I think I need to see you like today.
Why'd you let him kick you like that, man?
Honestly, I just wanted to see how hard he kicked.
Oh,
I'm
did you?
joking.
Yeah, right.
No, it wasn't. I had rounds with Suge because Suge was getting ready for Peter Yan, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I said when I should have zagged, bro, and he caught me with a nice teep kick right in. What do we call it?
That's the anterior articulation of the rib.
Yeah, look at this
Yeah,
guy.
there, that's
All
exactly what it was.
We should keep him on the side. He's one of those guys like everything like, what was that? Blah, 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 blah.
That'll be your little anatomy book or something. Yeah,
It's like
your
the
little
exact
free
definition.
Wikipedia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on the
So
side.
why were you there trying to meet him? What was the thing?
Actually, I met Zach, one of his managers, essentially.
Okay.
I was treating him as well, and he just said it would be a good sponsorship opportunity, and I was really intrigued. I work with a lot of athletes, kind of going through school, and being an athlete myself, just was very intriguing. I just opened this practice up about 2 years ago, so
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, looking to try to get some more patients, some more kind of viewers and stuff like that. So definitely worth a great opportunity. And Zach talked highly of Marcus, and I was like, yeah, let's go check this guy out. Sure enough, that day.
Did you throw him on the table right away and be like, all right, let me show you what I'm about?
I think I saw him the next day, actually. I was like, you should actually come over now. Yeah. And I was willing to open up the clinic just to see him, but yeah.
I think he tripped me when I was inside of the cage. He was like, oh, that's the one we got to make sure we got to do today.
Yeah, you knew I was coming.
So he met Suge before.
Exactly.
And was like, hey, dog, I'm trying to get this guy as a client. I need you to donkey kick him in the stomach.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what it was. Now it was a need.
I think you just knew you were going to meet me, so you're like, yeah, let's just test this chiro out, see if he's any good, actually.
That's probably a better way of looking at it, probably.
Doc's a smart man. 100%. There's some stuff going on behind him a little bit. 100%. I like it. So you mentioned that you're an athlete yourself. Is this kind of where this whole thing started from the beginning? Kind of like, how did you,
Yeah. I mean, long story short, I was 10 years old, football injury, just a huge collision. I remember the hit. It was special teams. Ooh. I was having it out for this guy too. We were going head to head. I like to hit. I played hockey, football. I'm a big kind of contact kind of guy.
Nice.
And I remember the hit. We both just pancaked. We both went down. It was a big collision. I was walking around like this, classic kind of like neck stinger is what most people call it. And 10 years old, dad being Mr. Tough Guy, you don't complain about injuries, you don't complain about that kind of stuff. So you get right back out there, keep playing. Knowing what I know now, that was very dumb, but that's how it goes. So literally that night, my dad actually called me out. He's like, Tony, why are you doing that on purpose? And walking around like this, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And sure enough, my older brother had a similar injury, so my parents knew to take me to the chiropractor. And that day, I was just playing with every single model. I was staring at all the posters. I was asking a million great questions at 10 years old. And my mentor, my doc, he always told me, hey, you make a great chiropractor with all the questions you're asking. And ever since then, every time I saw him, he's like, yeah, you starting chiro school yet? I'm like, Doc, I haven't started high school yet. So he was always kind of pushing me into it. And, I had my doubts pushing through med school and stuff like that. But, spent one summer in a cubicle. And I was like, screw this. I'm not doing this.
Oh, man.
So decided to just kind of make that jump, make that leap, kind of take that risk, and couldn't be happier. I love where I'm at now, and I love to be able to help people the way that I do. And I build so many great relationships, obviously. And I'm just happy to be where I'm at.
So what was schooling like? What's that process of getting to the point where you can open up your own practice and everything like that?
Yeah, it's all kind of subjective a little bit, but what it is, it's actually an 8-year degree.
Okay.
So it is 4 years undergrad, 4 years of grad program, and I did like an accelerated program. So not to sound conceited, but I graduated high school in 3 years, played 1 year of travel hockey, and then I actually got done with my undergrad in 3 years as well. So I took a accelerated kind of workload, and then I went over to Palmer in Davenport, Iowa, and that's like the birthplace of chiropractic. I was set on going there at 10 years old, basically. And they go by trimesters, so it's 10 total trimesters. I actually got that done in 9 as well. Oh, and I was able to precept. So I started school. I knew I was going to be a chiropractor. I'm like, how quick can I get out of school and start practicing? So I technically could have started practicing as a doctor at 24. But I did take that extra year, so it was 25. Decided to play hockey instead for a bit. Yeah, pursue that career path a little bit, and obviously that didn't work out. But hockey's always going to be a big part of my life, so I still skate all the time.
Yeah, that's impressive. I love hockey players. Those dudes y'all are beasts, animals. Like, you see them get half their face chopped off, stitch it up, and they're back on the ice. Like,
just like this last playoff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I missed something, huh?
Huh?
I missed something. I didn't see the playoffs. Somebody's face got
yeah, man. Or how did it happen, right? He caught a stick or something, right?
He actually fell on the goalie's skate.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I think he had.
Oh, that's right.
I think he had 75 stitches, and he came back the next game.
Big old gauze pad strapped to his face, skating.
That's crazy. We were just talking about getting drop kicked with skates on, and I didn't think it would be that bad. Now I'm getting proven that. It's pretty bad.
It's bad.
They gotta catch you just right. The problem with those goalie skates are they're sharper.
Okay.
They have different angles to them, so it's much flatter, and those can get you for sure. They're designed to cut into the ice, so they're gonna cut into you too. But obviously, like when you're playing D or forward or anything else outside of goalie, there's more of an arc to it, so it's a lot harder. You got to get like a nice little slice on there to actually cut someone, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, see that kind of tough boy mentality, just kind of like, I'm sure you as well. I mean, mine was only going through like, college athletics, high school, played football too. I'm very impressed with you at such a young age, thinking that you already had your kind of like your plan already sought out for you. But then you also achieved it. Like, that's amazing. And it's kind of going to show, at least through, Marcus has mentioned it a few times. Zach's talked about you before too. It definitely shows for your practice kind of what your determination is and how dedicated you are when you do get a client in, how much emphasis and how much effort you're going to put into them. Everything you've done is accelerated. Everything you've done has been top class. So, I'm intrigued. I had that back pain. I kind of mentioned to you, I was throwing kegs like a dummy, 180-pound kegs. Destroyed my back. Destroyed it. And not saying the chiropractor that I have now is doing a bad job, because he's doing great. But as we were going through kind of the healing process, it's always nice to get like another opinion or something like that. And I would be curious to see what you would think or do. And then the different types of levels. I'm sure old, young, how exposed are you with your practice being so new? Do you have young, old,
I think me being young, I kind of naturally attract a younger demographic.
Oh, nice.
But I'm a full family practice. My youngest is 1 year old right now.
Oh, wow.
I think my oldest is 82.
1 year old?
1 year old. Yep.
Why? What's a 1 year old?
So the idea with adjusting children is typically up to the age of 5, the nervous system isn't fully developed yet. So meaning like the spinal cord and things like that are still kind of developing. The spine itself is still developing. Once they kind of reach 5 is when they're going to be their full maturity for that. So it's important to make sure that things are going in the right direction before the age of 5, ideally. This mother is just very in tune with chiropractic. I think her dad's a chiropractor, so she's a big fan of it, always utilized it her whole life, worked in it for a lot of years too. So she comes in and we get to tune up both of her daughters, and they're amazing. They're little Tasmanian devils for sure, but
mind blown.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what we can do with the kiddos. And obviously when we adjust kiddos, it's a lot less invasive. You're not getting those big snap, crackles, and pops. Every once in a while you do get like a nice little cavitation is what it's called when you get that popping noise. But it's very fine-tuned finger pressure. It's never like a big Bruce Lee, neck adjustment or something, right? That's what people always picture with chiropractors, but trust me, Marcus isn't teaching me how to adjust people.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just not having that every time. Still, like, dude, like I expect it. Just maybe I guess I'm more exposed to like the social media type where it's like the cavitation, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's people like chewing on pasta.
That's the clickbait.
You want to hear those great long elongated pops. Like, that was a good adjustment. Like, how valid is that though? Even without pops, are you still getting quality work even if you're not getting a lot of crackle and pops and everything, and maybe you're not feeling those type of what was the
cavitation?
Word? Cavitation.
Cavitation. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, just like you guys are spot on. A lot of people judge chiropractors based off of how much noise they make, and I'm like, I could step on some bubble wrap under the table if you want me to, but that doesn't necessarily judge how well the adjustment's holding.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't always get those pops, especially when people are super arthritic. You might get like tiny little clicks that I can barely feel, but they obviously don't feel it or they don't hear it and they don't think they're getting benefits. But no matter what, as long as you're manipulating the joint into a proper position, you're still going to be pushing it in the right direction and influencing it to be in a better position. So it does take time. So I love this analogy. It's like putting braces on for the first time. So I don't know if you guys ever wore braces on your teeth or anything, but when I first got mine,
natural.
It's impressive. My front teeth were it was like a field goal. And you could kick a football through it, basically.
Like, definitely a hockey player. It looks like
I'm lucky. I still got all my teeth too. But putting those braces on for the first time, I want to punch my orthodontist in that face. My teeth were so sore. My gums were just aching for a couple weeks. You're sucking on ice cubes and cold applesauce or whatever you can get down. And same goes for an adjustment. So if you've never been adjusted before, initially you can be very sore with it because we are manipulating a lot of things in your spine, right? We are changing things, and most people are rebellious in the sense that their spine wants to go back to that dysfunctional state because obviously that's been going on for 20, 30, 40, maybe 80 years. But initially can be very sore. Once we kind of start getting getting the patient used to those adjustments a little bit, then we start obviously like fine-tuning those braces a little bit, and you can maybe get some little minor aches and sorenesses, but you start getting used to that change a little bit, and the whole goal is eventually get you to like that nightly retainer, right? Which is, in my opinion, anywhere from like 4 to 8 weeks to kind of get that maintenance adjustments. Obviously, for someone like Marcus or someone that's a weekend warrior, sometimes that once a week, every 2 weeks, we always got to figure out what that right type of treatment plan is for each individual, because obviously we all are different. And again, I keep saying, like, I'm very athletic. I kind of attract a younger demographic, but the truth is we're all athletes in some shape or form. Right?
That's cool. I like that.
So I call it, like, I want to get the modern day athlete back to doing the things that they love to do. And it can be going on hikes. It can be going for walks again. It can be playing with your grandkids. It could be getting back out on the ice. You know, I got some old former hockey players that are like so against getting back on the ice just because their low back's a little tight. And I'm like, well, you don't have to be playing for the Stanley Cup every time. You know, you can get on the ice and still get a good quality workout and push your body to the way that you love to push it, but you don't have to injure yourself in the process. So I'm always trying to get people and encouraging people to get active and feel better. So I like to kind of sometimes call myself like a life coach too, a little bit, because I'm always trying to spin negative entities into a positive manner.
I love that. So. I recognize that, and especially with people who've perfected their craft and like yours, educational wise, but then also with your practice, is that it's definitely unfolded to many different areas. Like we were just talking about, right? Like the mineral salt I was just putting in.
Yep.
You're coming on a different side of many different things, like health and wellness, or even just being active and everything like that. Mark's a little more like, you know, spiritual, the background, the experience on that side. That's what's kind of where I know that like I'm gravitated towards you, is because you're on that aspect of all around inside and out type of approach. And that brings up, I mean, 100% why, you know, it led you to Marcus. You crossed paths with him. It's the same thing, you know. And how often do you get into those? Like, is that kind of like where it's been exciting for you, where you're crossing that, not just a client just popping back, so you're now dipping into these people, like you said, like if I'm going to have them on an 8-week program, you're getting to know them a little bit more, right? And you're starting to maybe inflict a different type of educational or like physical background to be like, hey, I'm going to kind of, you know, give you some advice on this that I know maybe it'll help you with, you know, your diet or something like that, right? Or like stretching, you know?
Well, the problem is we have a lot of repetitive stressors day in and day out. We all challenge our bodies in the same way because we're doing the same type of work. We're driving the same cars. We're using the gas and brake pedal with the same right foot all the time. You know, those little kind of like repetitive stressors do irritate our body and create compensations over time. And what I would say is I'm always trying to dive into the minute details of what's really causing the issue. And that's always what it comes down to. You know, you can, the classic analogy is if the check engine light comes on, you can either, you know, cut the wire to turn that light off. You can, like my ex-girlfriend, put a sticker over it and just hide it, right? Or you can get in the engine and actually fix it, right? So the key is always getting to the root cause of what's happening. A good example is I had one guy who was actually really frustrated with my care because he'd feel amazing after each adjustment, but a few days later he'd go right back to square one. So I'm like, okay, we're getting good results per adjustment, but moving forward, obviously there's some kind of repetitive stressor that's irritating your posture. And I found out it was his left neck and his upper back. And again, adjusting it beautifully. A lot of good relief, but he's like, I don't know. I don't sleep on that side. I don't know what I'm doing that's different. Well, diving into his day-to-days, he actually delivers windows. So he's driving a lot. And guess what he's doing? He's putting that left elbow out the window. And I was like, well, stop doing that. Pretty easy solution, right? Stop doing that.
Yeah.
So I coached him, like grab the bottom of the steering wheel, let those shoulders fall down and back. Started doing that. 1,000% better. He was able to hold those adjustments, and that's such a simple, minor change in his daily activities that he's not even thinking about doing because it's just second nature to him.
Well, honestly, just talking about that, one of the things that
take that phone out of that pocket.
Not even a phone, the wallet, right?
Even
so
thicker.
I drove.
Well, that's a thick boy too.
That's a thick boy.
Oh yeah.
I drove for a long time.
Let me hold on to that.
There ain't nothing in there, baby.
So with a guy like Marcus, can you break down how? Oh, go ahead.
I drove for a long time, right? So that's what I did for Bloom, right? And I never knew that was a thing, right? I didn't know that. So when
the wallet in the pocket? Okay. Sorry.
So my I wasn't a chiropractor that told me, but one of my buddies told me, and honestly, that's when my lower back was still having issues when I came to you too, because I drove for like 5 years with my wallet in my back pocket constantly, right?
Yeah.
And my hips were just offset because no matter what, I mean, I was in the car between 10 and 14 hours every single day, 6 days a week, you know? So it was like, okay, just little things like that. Like, again, coming to your your knowledge and understanding, like, oh, that's something that's actually affecting you every day. I can get adjusted as much as I want and then put that wallet back in my pocket and go drive.
That's
and
crazy,
then my
man.
hips are offset every day.
I mean, think about it. You could wear a platform on one shoe and a normal shoe on the other side. You basically walk in circles.
Yeah.
It's basically what you're doing with that.
Yep,
Because, I mean, how thick is that? 1.5 inches at least?
At least.
At
At least a guy's inch, right?
There ain't nothing in there. There ain't nothing in there. Look at all those
If
greens.
it's a guy's inch, it's probably 3 inches.
Double. Right, that's right.
At least.
100%.
I'm for sure 6 foot. Yeah, 100%.
I like it. I
But
like it.
again, such a simple thing. Yeah, it's always finding what those minute little differences are that are creating those repetitive stressors, and everyone's a little different. I've numerous times had women or like young women with newborns and things like that are always carrying kids on one side, and they're wondering why their hips are off or why it's like kicking out to the left side. Well, you always carry your child on your right hand and you put it on the right hip, right? Well, that's going to kick it out because you do have to keep the center of gravity obviously over your feet. So what's going to happen is your hips are going to kick out to make up for that. Just like any other kind of, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of stuff like that. So this guy, how do you approach him? Like I know there's certain stages, right? Like pre-fight or post-fight. I mean, have you done both or like during some of this? Okay.
Well, for most athletes, it's very subjective to the individual. For high caliber athletes, a lot of times, I mean, I think, what's the stat? It's like 90% of all professional athletes and Olympians utilize chiropractic or have a personal chiropractor.
That's great.
And again, that's every professional league and things like that. But yeah, to optimize the body for high performance, obviously that's another really good thing. We can stimulate the nervous system and really optimize that neuromuscular connection. So you're optimizing that communication or that ability for your brain to communicate with the rest of your body. And it works with every cell, joint, tendon, ligament, muscle in your body. So that optimization is crucial. So pre-fight, that's kind of where we want to lean towards, is trying to optimize the body, keep things moving. I'm not trying to do anything like crazy and new. I'm just trying to like balance the body and keep things as functional and flowing as possible. And obviously, like with you trying to make weight and stuff like that, we kind of gear the acupuncture towards appetite suppression and
nice.
kind of curbing like cravings and things like that. So that meditative process is really nice to kind of relax and let the GI tract just do what it's got to do, but kind of take your mind off of certain things. Now, when we're trying to rehab something or if we're trying to work with specific compensations, then that's where we kind of like repeat the same type of adjustments. But obviously for you being a striker with that right arm, like I'm always
knock people out with the left too. No,
yeah. Again, I'm always working on that right CT junction, that upper back on that right side quite a bit. So, we want to work on those compensations quite a bit. But
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, obviously every time we dive into something new, but acupuncture to crave some or curb the cravings and everything like that. Like,
so that's
you're getting
actually
all of it, man.
That's actually what I was going to say next. Like we talked about the chiropractor a little bit more, but the acupuncture, I think that's something that we haven't really talked about.
No.
I don't really ask a whole lot of questions. I'm just like, hey, needle me up, and I'm gonna turn the light off.
the
bro.
truth is, you're just a dartboard.
you out or what?
100%.
Yeah.
Hey,
I just sit back and throw darts at them.
100%. I was just like, yeah, throw the darts, bro. Wherever they land, you're good, bro.
Yeah.
But the acupuncture, so we've been doing that for a long time too. And honestly, like there's been a lot of different like good sessions of acupuncture that I've had on a meditative state as well. Just because, like, again, when you're intent on your thoughts and intent on what you're trying to achieve, right? I think that has added to the acupuncture. For me, that was my biggest part about the acupuncture. It gives me about 27, 28 minutes to be intentional with my thought and in a space of myself as well, with pressure points or with points that are specific on me as well. But I have never really sat down and said, hey, where's acupuncture? How much extra schooling does it take to do on that? Where would you even go to get that type of schooling?
Yeah.
Is that a part of it? Like, is it all play into hand or what?
Some schools do offer it as well, so you can actually graduate as a DC, a Doctor of Chiropractic, with an acupuncture degree. I did all mine post, so I just had essentially my doctorate was able to give me an accelerated program that I basically did online. I had a handful of in-class opportunities as well. So the acupuncture definitely came on later, but the reason why I got so into it is because it shares a very similar philosophy as chiropractic. Again, optimizing the body, allowing your body to communicate with itself, its most optimal form. the biggest thing with that is with an adjustment, you feel that cavitation, right? You feel the movement. You're able to kind of like stimulate the nervous system to communicate the brain to the rest of the body. Now, acupuncture is more a little woo-woo, so it's hard to kind of get people to understand that, but it's more about optimizing your energy field, aka your chi. And one of the best ways to do that is to align those chakras. So we can stimulate those chakras by utilizing specific points on specific meridians that are tied with organs and things along those lines. So I kind of utilize a manual of very specific protocols that help with a lot of specific symptomatology. And that's kind of how I approach it, because there is acupuncture, you can dive in very, very deep on how you can approach different forms of acupuncture. And that's why I'm really proud of the guy that instructed me. I called him the second most interesting man in the world behind the Dos Equis guy. Because
Dos Bangers guy.
Dude, he had a story for a story. He used to travel every few months to a new part of the world and learn their theory on acupuncture. So he's been able to collect a worldwide knowledge of acupuncture and condense it in these protocols essentially that make it very simplistic. Because I'm more of an analytical guy. I like to. When you see this is what typically happens, but obviously you always have to modify and kind of adapt to the environment. But getting back to the acupuncture, I guess the meditative aspect of it helps promote something called a parasympathetic response. And that's actually our rest and digest response. Most of us kind of understand the sympathetic response, and that's our fight or flight. So if a lion walked in the room, we got to either fight it. That's why I'm going to be hiding behind Marcus. But, but
same here.
Fight or flight, and that's our stress response. That's where we're producing cortisol, and we're producing all of our stress responses and things like that. What we want to do is kind of combat that by promoting the parasympathetic response, and that's our rest and digest. And I think personally, chiropractic does that really well also, but that's why people are yawning on the way out, and I love that. That's the best compliment I can get. Yeah. But the meditative aspect of acupuncture is a huge benefit for that parasympathetic response. And you can dive into what points we're utilizing and all that kind of stuff. It's very thorough. It's 2,000 plus years old, and promoting that parasympathetic response. It's forcing you to sit still with those needles in, right? So it's hey, calm down, shut that brain off for 30 minutes. And just sit still, and you kind of have to, because you don't want to disrupt those needles.
So two things. I guess, how would you approach a couple people? One, the non-believers to be meh, whatever. I don't think those little needles could do that. Or someone to say who's deathly afraid of needles, and they're there's no way you're poking me with those.
That's not you, right? That's
heck no. I'm down for. I'm
talking for somebody
There's
else.
A couple people I have in mind already where I'm
yeah.
Oh, I'll lay down.
Probably utilize it, but you're scared.
Yeah, dart me up too, dog. Get the one that has the ice cream stimulation in my mind.
Yeah, right.
Curve that one, dude, please.
Hey,
whatever.
That was okay for this weekend, man. You're newly married man.
That's every day though. I want to go home. I want ice cream.
I was trying to hide it
you've
for
been
him.
telling me you've been doing a lot of good things. All you got to do is the first thing is making that first step and staying consistent. But to answer your question, I'm not too much of a salesman. I hate pushing people past their comfort zone. I like to educate people on how it can be beneficial, how it helps, what I can and can't do. So I'm very straightforward and honest about that kind of stuff, and that's why I think a lot of people kind of gravitate towards me. But when it comes to, the funniest thing is when people are tatted up and they got piercings and stuff, and they come in and they say they're afraid of needles.
Yeah.
I was whatever needle they use to do that on you, these are way 5 times smaller.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. You can actually fit 4 acupuncture needles through the eye of a hypodermic needle.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing how thin those points are. They're very, very small. They don't go very deep. A lot of times I kind of explain most people explain it it feels like a mosquito bite.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is going in. You might get different sensations. You could probably vouch for that too, but typically it's not to the point where it's completely uncomfortable that you can't relax. And again, you want the needles to be able to harmonize and kind of get on the same frequency. So you might feel different sensations moving around the needles, but they're never to the point where they should be uncomfortable to the point where you can't fall asleep.
Wow. Interesting.
So I always use that analogy it's a mosquito bite, but people aren't from the Midwest like us, those things are small pterodactyls. Yeah. Those things hurt when they bite you.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think it even feels like a mosquito bite, It's just that quick little kind of prick. And by the time it's in, they're oh, that's it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay.
So, and I typically dance anywhere from maybe 10 to 25 needles. sometimes like I do some on the face, the ears. I do some midline as well, sometimes around the front of the shoulders, but typically their elbows to fingertips, knees to toes. And that allows me to actually put a chiropractic spin on it. So I have a zero gravity chair. So actually the back goes back as the legs come up. It gives you a natural pelvic tilt to help that low back. And then it also helps elevate those legs, so all the blood's coming back to your core. So if people are scared of them, obviously it's a lot harder to pass out when all the blood's coming back to your core. So that's always a little benefit. So there's a little method behind that madness too.
Interesting.
So,
I'm gonna try this out. I mean, I've never been through acupuncture. I know a lot of people who have. Probably the hardest case. A buddy of mine, he's a vet. Weirdly scared of needles, and I mean, for the life of him, couldn't sleep. Huge power lifter, very tight, obviously, and everything. And now this dude's like, very flexible. Does acupuncture maybe like once every couple weeks. The chiropractor, the adjustments, everything like that. Completely evolved and changed his life. He's sleeping now. The diet's on point, and I mean, he gives it a test to that, like alone. And I don't know, like I would be curious just to kind of see where that would be and where that would kind of fit. And then especially for like different types, to say like me and Adriana, like, she takes on a different type of stress load and level because, she's a little bit more emotional. She tags onto a lot of that stuff. I let it go, but it's like, maybe this, I don't know, like the stress of running the business, running around so much and not really focusing on like, body's last right now,
That's what a lot of moms do too, or just females in general. It's always go, go, go. So women are way tougher than guys. We have to wait till like a bone's sticking out, but we don't have the guts to really like bring it up or do something about it typically. We just kind of let it ride, and that's why we're all frail and limping around typically in our old age. And women are typically more healthy in the long term. But isn't that why they say men die sooner than
100%.
All the time.
But and plus women are always taking care of everyone. So they're forcing their husbands to come in. I'm like, well, who's taking care of you? Like, you need to take care of yourself too.
That's cool.
So there's a lot of different things like that. And but to approach those different types of different types of stressors, so to speak. If we're talking about a bodybuilder, first thing I would jump to, especially if he's not sleeping well, when you taking that pre-workout.
Oh yeah.
That's just something I had to realize recently because I haven't been sleeping like I wanted to, and I was thinking like, what changed? I was drinking the Celsius drinks at before practice, and before practice is like 3:00, right before practice. And the normal person, that's fine, it's not too bad. But for me, caffeine is really hard, and it's 200 milligrams of caffeine. So I only need 80, but I'm drinking the whole 200, and I'm wondering why I can't sleep at night.
Really?
It was a huge factor because I'm drinking the 200 is just too much for me to drink at 3:00 in the afternoon. Because by the time 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock cruises around, I'm trying to sleep. I can't sleep. It just completely throws me off. Crazy. And
you were able to dial it in though.
I dialed it in finally in the last couple of weeks. But that's one thing going into my fight week. I was just kind of like, man, why am I not sleeping as well? And I was like, these damn Celsius drinks. So I'll drink one in the morning before my morning practice. And usually I try to drink half of the one in the morning, but then I drink a full one at night. So that's still like 400 milligrams.
That adds up quick.
Of caffeine that was it was definitely stepping into my sleeping habits. And
caffeine's good, but I'm not gonna dog on Celsius, especially if you're trying to get a plug with them or something.
Hey, no, they're fire. I'm still drinking them still now. There's no doubt about it. I'll take the sleep.
They taste good. You can crush them in the mornings and stuff like that. That's fine. It's actually typically, if you can have one of those on like an empty stomach first thing in the morning, you're gonna definitely accelerate your metabolic rate, and you're gonna end up burning a lot of calories early on. So it's a good way to like accentuate like a intermittent fast if you're into that kind of thing. But the big thing with Celsius is it's an aggressive amount of caffeine. I feel like 200 milligrams is like the standard now. It's like, that's a lot.
Oh yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
Like a 1 cup of coffee should be closer to like maybe 75, 90 max. And depending on how many espressos you put in it. But
I put 6 in mine. Is that a lot?
6? Yeah, that's a little too much.
Is it?
I'm surprised you're not bouncing off the wall like Jim Carrey in The Mask or something.
Rocket ship. Yeah, that's kind of.
You're taking off.
Like my all the time, buddy.
They call that the rocket ship?
Yeah. I have a name for it.
Is that really 6?
that's what you
call
it?
You really got 6 espresso
I got 6.
Oh, you're not joking.
I'm not joking.
I literally thought he was joking.
Yeah, I
You can
mean,
ask all the girls, man.
Wait, well, all the girls? What are you talking
Well,
about?
like the girls that work here. Right here.
I was like, you just got married. Hold on, pump the brakes.
No. My coffee order is normally like a quad or a 6 shot, and the girls are like, oh, the rocket ship.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's crazy. 6
Kind of a
of
cool
them.
name, but
And I'm complaining about 200 milligrams. You're over here drinking.
And I'll sleep like a
400.
baby tonight.
who knows?
Oh, I'll sleep like a baby tonight. But I only have one though. One in the morning. Then
Well, it's in the morning though. That's what it is. See, mine is the fact that I'm having around 3 o'clock in the
that's
afternoon.
crazy.
I think, and then I'm training hard and everything. It's really always a hard training session around then. But for some reason, like again, caffeine's always been a big thing for me my whole life. Where I couldn't really have a lot of caffeine because the way I reacted to it. And then finally, these Celsius's and less sugar drinks started coming out that don't have as much sugar. Because I think it was the sugar in all those other like chronic. I don't know if people remember chronic energy drinks or no. You guys remember chronic energy?
No, I was not ever big into energy drinks.
It was a skateboard brand, you know. But chronic energy drink was around for a minute, like. They had a bunch of different stuff like that. But again, that was like when Monster was just about to drop, you know, like no one was really in the game that much. So there was a lot of like a lot of singular players that are like mom and popping in there, you know?
Yeah.
So, and those things would just take me out, man. So I was like, no energy drinks for me, never. And then again, once I started to learn more, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to have 80 milligrams of caffeine before my practices. I was like, all right, cool. This Celsius right here is only 200. Cool, I'll drink a Celsius in the morning, a Celsius at night, you know? No worries.
Dude, 400 in a day, that's a lot.
That's a lot,
Turn
right?
you up.
There's a lot of specific herbs that you'd want to try to take too. Like, I have like an energy drink once in a while. I work with Fit Aid quite a bit.
Okay.
It's called Life Aid actually, but the Fit Aid, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, those are money.
I saw the Focus one you had this morning. I was looking at it.
So the Focus, that has 100 milligrams. That's more than what I typically would take in a day, but it has a big blend of herbs in it that help you focus more. So you do get that kind of like jump from the caffeine, obviously, but you're not bouncing off the walls. You get a little bit more tunnel vision, so you feel a little less ADHD. But you know, we want to limit the amount of caffeine. That obviously produces it's hard on our adrenal glands, and that's what produces our stress hormone, cortisol. So there's a lot of different moving parts with that, but everyone's a little different how we kind of metabolize caffeine. So definitely try to modify that. Like if you're going with if you're having like a bunch of sugary coffees every single morning and it's like a bunch of sugar, that's the worst thing you could possibly do in the morning, because obviously you're on an empty stomach. If you're not eating breakfast, your body's metabolizing that sugar, and if you have too much of it too quickly, you're going to end up making that into fat, right? Storing it as energy for the future. And that's why it's really important to make sure like you are consuming healthy things first thing in the morning. And that's why they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It's not because of eggs, bacon, and French toast and all that good stuff. It's because it's the first meal of the day. It's because you're breaking the fast while you're sleeping. So there's a big thought process behind that as well. But the one thing that I would mention with Celsius, the reason why I kind of got away from it a little bit, the sucralose. The sucralose is it's in every single thing nowadays. It's a 0-calorie sweetener. It's we just got rid of aspartame. Right. We finally got rid of it after years. I've been talking about it before I even got out of school. And aspartame is a low-calorie sweetener. We're talking about Equate versus Splenda.
Okay.
So basically the same thing. One's low-calorie, one's 0-calorie. The sucralose is 0-calorie. We're going to find out in 5-10 years that that's unhealthy for us too. But the problem is it's in everything.
Is it really?
Absolutely in everything. And that's what's really difficult. We got to
try taste good still. That's why Celsius is still so delicious, because zero, right?
0 calories, 0 sugar.
Yeah.
What about stevia? Is stevia another type of like sucralose type of thing?
That's more natural. That's more plant-based. Yeah.
Okay, bad.
That's way better for you.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, you need to start getting on Life Aid, man. You need to let go.
Hey, man, honestly,
I need to get off my
about
rocket ship and get on the Life Aid over here.
I got a good plug for you.
Yeah, he's
too.
been plugging me for a while, man. And honestly, they're fire, because he's given me multiples, and I've drank every single one. They're delicious, man.
Yeah.
And
they got new flavors coming out too. I just got a new order. There's like a Hawaiian nectar, and they just improved their strawberry lemonade.
Oh, bro, strawberry lemonade.
Dude,
that's my thing right there, man.
I gotta get Fit Aid on the horn right now and give them a call.
I'm telling you, man. We gotta
check out this podcast.
Hey, Fit Aid.
Right here, dude.
The cool part about it is actually a chiropractor from California too.
Oh, really? That created the whole thing?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until I was actually just getting out of school and like restarting my workout program after like getting done with having to focus on school. And I was talking to a personal trainer buddy. I was asking like, hey, what's a really low stim like pre-workout you'd recommend? Well, he jumps to C4. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll try that. I didn't sleep for like 3 days.
Oh, yeah, no way.
Yeah, I'm not used to that kind of stuff. I hate that type of stimulation.
Same.
But then he jumped to, try this Fit Aid. You know, it's very low caffeine, but it has a lot of good vitamins in it. And I started reading up on it. I'm like, man, this is perfect. Sweetened with organic agave. It's only 9 grams of sugar. They do make a 0 sugar one too. So yeah, it's all about what you're putting in your body. But as a pre-workout type of thing, we want to be focusing on a lot of different aspects, like a little bit of creatine, beta-alanine, nitric oxide production. That's probably the new... Yeah, L-citrulline, the DL-malate, and then beetroot powder is the most natural form of it. There's a lot of good stuff. So like super beets nowadays, I'm convinced that that's probably one of the best things for the longevity of our cardiovascular system is a little beetroot powder.
Yeah,
we need to get this guy to write down a full list for everybody.
Hey, he will.
Hey, man, this is what you get when you walk in. I talk about all kinds of different things, and I'll randomly bring it up. Like, hey, I just want to mention this. You know, like we've been talking a lot about beetroot lately in the medical world, and I have a lot of faith that this is good for you. And then patients are like, why are you bringing this up? I'm like, just fun fact for the day. I just want to share something and teach you something new today. You know, so
it's amazing.
And I have no tie to them. I'm not selling beetroot powder on the side. I'm not like I don't have a big garden full of beets or something.
He opens up the jacket.
I know, yeah.
Got the L-citrulline. Oh no, you want the organic beetroot?
Yeah.
Got you.
I got that practitioner grade stuff.
There it is.
You're gonna fall asleep during acupuncture, whether you like needles or not. Try this.
Yeah, I just wake up. He's like, hey man, you said something about nitrous oxide. I just wanted to.
Yeah, right. I was gonna take us back to like what was that movie, Strange Wilderness, where he steals that tank from the dentist's office.
I love that movie.
Oh man, that's a
Good
classic.
reference.
Oh my goodness, man.
No, yeah, I mean,
a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna jump in there.
Yeah, you definitely should. You definitely should. Again, North Scottsdale is where you're located at. You know,
a little bit about the practice.
Core Chiropractic. Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and break it down.
Yeah, I'm in North Scottsdale. I'm off of Raintree and Northsight, so I'm right by the EOS up that way. It's kind of close to Westworld. I got 2 adjusting rooms. I got a nice little acupuncture bay with 3 different bays. I have in-house X-rays too, so I love taking pictures of people day one. I have my own app as well, so people get access right to the X-rays day one, because again, that's your property. I always thought that was the worst thing, when we would have to hold X-rays or hold imaging from patients and then make them jump through all these different loopholes to get their products. So that's really efficient for a lot of people. You can actually schedule through there too, make it super simplistic, but I'm all cash based. So I charge a whopping $70 for day one, exam, consultation, full spine X-rays. I charge $45 for adjustment. And that's pretty low key. And again, my whole goal with this is to get away from the stereotypical chiropractor of charging too much, of being a revolving door, where people are in and out in 1 minute type of thing. And I obviously don't want to make people come in, every day of the week. I'm not doing my job if that's the case. And again, not saying that's not a good thing. Sometimes you do need that with acute injuries and things like that, but we need to get you out to that maintenance about 4 to 8 week mark. And if I'm not doing that, I'm obviously not doing my job right. And I need to obviously refer or do something along those lines, or change up what we're doing. So what's that one saying? It's if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results, that's like the definition of insanity.
Yep, insanity. Yep.
Yeah.
You're insane. I'm insane. We're all insane. Yeah. But no, it's 100%.
Well, you're not expecting different results. You're making results.
You're right.
You're producing them.
100%. You're 100% right.
Man, Core Chiropractic.
I'm telling you, man. Go check him out. Go check him out.
Get on the horn.
I think you appreciate that one too. When preparation meets opportunity. Definition of success right 100%. There.
Hey. I guess we should finish with this story too. So I was going over, and again, a lot of my speeches you heard that I haven't been too attached to things, right? It's not an attachment. It's not like I've been pushing myself like, I have to have these things, but I have been meditating on the things that that I would believe are for me, right? And I think it was like just after the January fight, I came in, did a chiropractor and acupuncture, and before I got in the acupuncture seat, while we were sitting there, we were just discussing like things, and I was having a hard time finding the fight, and all these things. Actually, no, that was right after the rib injury, because I had already had a hard time finding a fight, and I remember him just saying to me like, take this next 30 minutes to plan out your next 6 months and meditate on your next 6 months, and
say what?
And in that meditation, like, I came up with like a 5-step plan that was supposed to play out till about right now and end with me being in the UFC. But I ended up jumping ahead in April, because April was supposed to be me getting another fight and then hopefully getting Contender Series. and instead of doing April being Contender Series fight, or April being my last fight for Contender Series, it was my first fight in the UFC. And things were kind of just going crazy. So I would meditate on that and just, again, not be too attached to it, but just meditate on what it would be like, what I would do in the situation, what I would want to do, how I want to be living my life throughout the process if that opportunity came up.
Becoming prepared.
And it was preparing myself for the moment, to be able to do that. So I think it was a huge part of it too. And I remember when he came back in, I was like, hey man, I think I got a 5-step plan. He looked at me like, huh?
Yeah, right.
You're all hugging, crying him, and he's like,
you're getting too ahead of yourself here, man. Yeah. But honestly, I felt like it was amazing. Like a real moment for me. It was a real moment for me where I saw a lot of things happen. And it wasn't like I'm like, oh, they're for sure going to happen. But it was like, hey, I could see them happening. And who do I want to be if they do happen?
That's very impressive.
Yep. I remember that day for sure. Yeah. You were pretty distraught, actually. I could tell you were really kind of discouraged in some shape or form. And I don't really know how the whole process is to get to the UFC, but I saw you spar. I watched that first fight. I was like, dude, this guy's got some talent. Like he's going to go places. And the way that you just carry yourself, the amount of respect that you carry into the ring too, and into your training, all the friends that you have with that, you can just tell like you're a good, well-rounded athlete. And I've dealt with some high caliber athletes, and some of them are dicks. They kind of suck, but they're full of themselves or something like that. But I can just tell like you definitely have a really good, respectful understanding of the sport, and you put in the work, the time and effort to make things happen. My dad used to tell me all the time, good things happen to people who work the hardest. So when if I wasn't talented enough and I was losing a game, I just knew like, hey, balls to the wall, go as hard as you possibly can. Something good's going to happen, whether I'm going to make them screw up or I'm going to put the puck in the net, or maybe the goalie tries to catch it and it just misses or something. I don't know. I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes, but I can just tell like in that moment you were very discouraged. And I don't know how that process goes to get to the UFC. So I'm like, hey man, I don't really know how to help you here, but just meditate, just kind of picture and vision how you want the next 6 months to look, and come up with a plan to make it happen. And that's how we succeed, is when we have that plan, that opportunity, and it never goes as planned.
Yep.
Never. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but hey, you got to stick to it. You got to understand steps on how to get to your goals for sure. So I just respect the fact like your work ethic supersedes a lot of my professional athletes that I've seen.
I appreciate it.
So it's impressive, and I could tell there was fire in your eyes, man, walking out of that session too.
Yeah.
And I was
really
like, you don't look very relaxed, but you definitely figured something out.
He's in peace, but he's.
But it definitely was like a moment of like, there was a reason I saw it all clear as day, and it wasn't like it wasn't like a man, this is for sure going to happen. But it was like, man, if you could see it and you can believe it, then you can achieve it, right? And it was just like, okay, well, I'm going to do the parts I can do on the way there. And if it happens, at least I'll be there for when it happens, and in the best shape I could be in,
100%.
So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Preparation meets opportunity.
Well, tip of the cap to the chiropractor throwing that down like that, man.
I had to. It was definitely one of those moments.
Always trying to lift people up. That's what it's all about.
Love it.
We're all trying to be our most optimal selves, right? And there's a lot of discouraging moments. There's a lot of stressors in our lives. We have a lot of issues going on in the world today, so it's even making it more challenging. And best thing to do is be yourself. Yep. Just rock what you got and be proud of it. Might as well. Why be disappointed with it?
Show them what you bring to the party.
And if you're not happy, change something. Otherwise, that's called insanity, right? So a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
man, love it.
That's what it's all about.
Tell the people where to find you, man. How to find you.
Again, North Scottsdale, right off of Raintree in the 101. You can look me up on Google too, ChiropracticAZ.com. You can even schedule as a new patient on there. You can also come in and say hi to my pup as well if you just want to say hi or talk about the Packers or whatever the case is.
Man.
Maybe vent about the Packers this year. I don't really know what to expect.
My son is liking the Cowboys because of it. What is going
on with that?
I know. We'll get back to your Instagram. Where can they find you on social media as well?
Hey, same thing. Instagram is my go-to. Core Chiropractic AZ. Free to follow. You can always message me there. It's just me and the pup. So I'm very kind of low key. I'm always down to answer questions. You can feel free to call, text, whatever the case is. So
he keeps saying pup. That's like 7 feet tall. He's a great dog though. Obi, I always call him OP, but it's OB, right?
No, it's OP.
OP.
You're right.
Okay.
Just like OP Taylor.
I keep on thinking I'm saying it wrong.
He's like a 130-pound Saint Bernard.
Oh,
yeah. He's not a puppy.
He's a gentle giant, but he's 4.
He's my pup.
He's lively. Yeah.
He's a bear.
He's a part bear.
But he is like the sweetest dog. You know, sweetest, most cuddly dog. I'm like, man, thinks he's a lap dog.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think he's been watching me play hockey too much because every once in a while he'll lean into people and throw a little hip check or something.
There you go.
Yeah. No, he's great. He's just our mascot, and he basically runs the show, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
I get people coming in all the time just to say hi to him, and the best part is like I get like moms and females coming in, and they're like, oh, well, you're such a handsome boy. Oh, you're so cute, you know. And I was like, you talking to me or Opie? You know? And they just started laughing. They're like, definitely not you.
Yeah.
Definitely not you.
He's like, yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Opie gets me all the play.
Yep.
That's
what it's all about. That guy's my rock. So.
Well, we still got this arm wrestle, right, man?
Oh,
We gotta double it up, right?
I was hoping you guys would forget about that.
So
How are we supposed to do this?
I don't
You'll
know.
be in the middle. We'll be on the outside. We already know how this is gonna go. Look at those guns. Look at those guns.
I'm gonna feel like Braveheart here, just getting stretched out.
Yeah. What is Braveheart's? What is Braveheart's?
Oh God, how we do this?
Hey, if he starts winning, cut the.
I'm getting the left hand. I'm getting the left hand though because.
Do I get the stand?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I think I think that should be fair that you get to stand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna sit.
We'll go. This is a good height.
All right.
He means business here, right?
Ooh,
Never cut the feet if I start losing.
What do we do? On 3?
Yep. I will let you. We'll let you call the 3 though.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh God!
Double up.
I need to do more practice. That was like a fly.
I need acupuncture, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you for coming on.